Hello! Today I'd like to tell you about this unusual Blood Angel from the Horus Heresy era, because this is one of the latest Joytoy novelties and it's still very fresh. Moreover, for the next couple of months this is definitely the last Joytoy figures that I'm buying. So, this character is called Arch-Erelim from the Blood Angel's Angel Seers unit. To be honest, at the time of unpacking I have absolutely no idea what he is representing to his back lore information or to the codex. I was simply attracted to the figure by its appearance, but not in every part of it, so in this video we'll look at my first simple Joytoy custom. The box contents are standard and familiar. The figure assembly in terms of the backpack and weapons is nothing special as well, so let's move on to the details. The shins of the armor are completely empty. The version of the regular Arch-Erelim has the emblem of the unit there. Here we can find it on the left knee. It is a skull with a three-sided cross, with the background of a glow similar to a halo. We are going to encounter it a few more times later. On the right knee you can see the legion number, the Roman numeral 9. On the hips there are small decorations in metallic color, the same on the edges of the shin armor. Interestingly, you can see that some pistons or shock absorbers are built into the armor at the back. I have never seen this before, maybe these are amplifiers or some compensators for working with this jump pack, or maybe some kind of stabilizers for jumping. The groin area and back are covered with armor plates. In front there is generally a sculpt of such a proto-quill of blood angels, with golden wings and 3 drops of blood. The belt is overloaded with removable accessories. Let's go from left to right. A crack grenade for armor targets. A pouch combined with a frag grenade for living targets. The fun thing is that the pouch has a grey metallic color, like the grenade. Manufacturer was too lazy to paint it. While the next exactly the same pouch is already painted black. I assume that it contains ammunition for Volkite pistols, and the last pouch is a little larger. Here you can find the emblem of the Legion and some kind of golden rod hanging on the carbine. I have no idea what could it be, a grenade or shell from a bolt, but as far as I know Warhammer, it may turn out to be a good luck charm. Above we can see a rare picture of not just an open stomach of a space marine, but also a specially cut out part of the armor on the chest, probably to reduce the weight and increase the plasticity of the body during jumps and flights. 3 tubes are brought out on both sides. The chest part without any coats of arms and aquillas, but clearly segmented and even has nipples. I don't find it strange or funny, just a little anatomy on the armor. Dante, for example, generally walks barefoot. By the way, it is strange that the Ultramarines do not have such anatomical decorations, considering the culture they are cosplaying. The armor on the forearms goes to the hand, and it is absolutely smooth. The left pauldron is black, which is one of the reasons why I took this particular figure. It has simple metal edges and the emblem of the Order of the First Sphere of the Legion. There are always some structural features for every Space Marine Legion, but in general this is the emblem of the Angel Seers unit. And I have no option but to notice that from a design standpoint it is almost Crux Terminatus. The right shoulder also has a skull with the funny drawn together eyebrows. By the way, the skulls here look elongated unlike any other. Also we can see golden wings and a tape with the inscription of Baal. This is the homeworld of the Legion and their Primarch. The helmet is non-standard. It has metallic color and absolutely everything is atypical here. The box grid and the shape making it smaller than other helmets. Golden wings on the sides, which means that we have an Arch-Erelim in front of us and not just an Erelim. But I didn't immediately understand what confuses me in this helmet design. His black eyes. I have already gotten used to the fact that the Space Marine have lenses of a contrasting color. But here it is absent, and therefore in my eyes the helmet looks a little unfinished. Although this is an original Games Workshop design. By the way, the head is surrounded by protective color. And the last thing, the backpack. This is a giant tool consisting of a huge main engine, a pair of pipes on the sides, apparently also for stabilization, a pair of small jump engines, located by analogy with the standard starter's backpack. They are held on by pipes. On top there is an emblem of Angel Seers unit, with 3 drops of blood. Behind the head there is a grill. I hope it was made for air intake and not as a radiator. The backpack is attached with a standard pair of pins. This completes the review of the appearance. But the last point that needs to be noted is the painting. The darkened areas of the armor look great, making the figure more realistic. And in general, the red color is very nice. The equipment is modest, all the basic options for replaceable hands. Nothing interesting here. As a weapon, for the first time in my practice, here we have twin pistols called Volkite Serpents. This is the unique type of weapon from the 30th millennium, which look more futuristic than bolters. Rectangular barrels, the grill inside, a visible spiral from the side, there is also a magazine and a body with the handle. A little later we will talk about the weapon features. The articulation of the figure is quite standard, like any nameless warrior from the Heresy. I also want to note a pleasant moment. The backpack does not interfere with the mobility of the arms, because it is placed far enough from the shoulders. Each smaller turbine can move independently. but the front armor plate on the belt can rub the hips a little if they are raised high. Accordingly, the posing is also typical, but not in everything, because although the set includes a standard Joytoy stand, they decided not to put a special stand for flying Space Marines here. We are going to return to this later, but for now a few words about the Arch-Erelims and the Angel Steer Squad. This is a unit of destroyers who are engaged in simple extermination with particular cruelty. I personally don't see much sense in determining them out as a separate team, like if the Space Marines when they meet resistance acts differently. The title, or we can call it the position of Arch-Erelim, is temporary, because for the excessive brutality their battle brothers can treat them worse. So their names are replaced by evangelical ones, and their helmets are masks, which Space Marines can take off upon returning from their missions, and as I understood from the wiki, they can even fight in ordinary companies, wearing ordinary armor, and no one will know the fact that yesterday they did the same thing but a bit more aggressively. The warrior is armed with a pair of Volkite serpents. These are thermal weapons, essentially shooting beams of heat, which can be called Volkite beams. They each incinerate any target and easily burn through armor. These pistols are significantly superior to bolt and plasma weapons in power, but they have a low rate of fire and quickly overheat. In the 40th millennium, such weapons with rare exceptions are not used anymore. Before moving to the interesting part, I'd like to think about what kind of armor pattern this is, because it is written in many sources that their armor is unique. But judging by shins, knee pads, hips and forearm armor that goes onto the hand, this is a lightweight modification of the Mark IV Maximus. Of course I may be wrong because it is just my guess. In any case, in my opinion, this figure has a drawback, a really giant backpack, which not only doesn't look nice, but also with its weight participates in accelerating loosening of the ball joints in the belt and chest, which wears out the figure. So I want to replace it, and at the same time the helmet, so that the guy becomes closer to the images from the Angels of Death. I love this series. The only suitable backpack I could find was the Ultratech Marine backpack, and fortunately I have been storing the exclusive Joytoy helmet for over half a year, waiting for this moment. It is time to unpack it. To assemble such a lazy custom, you'll need to remove the backpack, put on a new one, take out the ball joints from the helmet, remove the old one, and install the Mark VII helmet. I like the figure better this way. Plus, it doesn't ruin his lore too much, the guy just took off the Arch-Erelim mask. It's a pity that Joytoy has been ignoring the most classic visual of the Space Marine helmet of the Aquila pattern armor for several years now, and you can only get them for free legions and in unnatural ways. What's good about the figure comes from the backpack. In addition to reducing the weight and pressure on the joints, posing is improved, because now nothing outweighs the Space Marine. This opens up the possibility for more dynamic poses, and also minimizes the space occupied by the Arch-Erelim on the shelf, which can be useful for large collections or small shelves. In general, poses with thin pistols always turn out spectacular, but still it's a pity that the crouching option is difficult to make. Now to the comparison. The Heresy figure is naturally more massive and slightly taller than the old Primaris. Has the same colors as Sister of Battle from the Bloody Rose, and the corresponding difference in size. Roughly speaking, this is how this guy would look next to the new Titus, since his height is close to the Terminator. Firstborn guys with the oldest artist jump packs, and Primaris jump packs for comparison in profile and from behind. The bulkiness of the old backpacks is really impressive, but I haven't yet seen more insane variations than the Blood Angels have, and this is not the wildest representative. Well, it's time to finish here. For the first time I touched on the topic of customization of action figures. Briefly, but it would be very interesting to return to this in the future. Also in such a light format. So I definitely going to talk about additional accessories, improvements, dioramas and similar things. As for the figure, as I said in my video criticizing the Joytoy scale, without exaggeration, today this is the last action figure from Joytoy in the old scale, and this Blood Angels wave is the last wave of figures in the old scale. The New World Eaters, Black Legionaries, Custodians, guys from the Age of Sigmar and probably even Sisters of Silence are a completely new branch in the manufacturer's model range, and the old scale is no longer works. But there's the good news also. The World Eaters belong to Warhammer 40,000, not 30,000. The scale of the Space Marines from the Heresy is still preserved, and probably the new Custodes even fit into it better, as well as the other factions, except for the old Space Marines from 40k. So if your collection and interest are built mainly around the Horus Heresy, then everything is quite nice currently. Somewhere there was a rumor that the Space Marines in Mark III will increase in size, but it is not confirmed yet. That's all I have for now. I hope I didn't overload you with too much information. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.